But after the kingdom is preached to all the world, that's when the end is going to come. Now, that's the time where I believe we are supposed to be alarmed. Because if you see right here, he says, but see to it that you are not alarmed. These things must happen, but the end is still to come. So when the end comes, that's the time to be worried. And that's when the end comes, after this gospel of the kingdom is preached to the world. Now, I want to go into, before we go any further on this, because we're going to finish up the chapter of 24, but before we do that, I want to head over to Matthew chapter 25, because as the main topic of this conversation was about the end times, to consider our talents, and what we should be doing with them, and how to be a good and faithful servant, or what that looks like. So in these end times, everybody must realize that they have been given certain talents, and those talents are the different gifts that we've already spoken about in the past. Those talents are things that God has given us that allows us to reach other people with the gospel and to help save lives and save souls as best as we can. It comes from the Holy Spirit, and we are to choose the best ways to use it, because that part is not laid out for us. That's up to our discernment and our choices of how we're going to use it, so that we can profit the Lord's investment. Here we have the parable of the talents. This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 14 is where we're starting at. For it is just like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted them with his possessions. When it says, for it is just like a man, he's referring to the kingdom, I believe. He's referring to details of the kingdom. He's saying the kingdom is like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted them with his possessions. To the one he gave 5 talents, to another 2 talents, and to another 1 talent, each according to his own ability, and he went on his journey. All right, so we all receive these different talents according to how God has already deemed us capable of how much we can accomplish. So don't be surprised. I mean, a lot of people, they don't give themselves credit for what they actually have. They know that they're capable of different things, but they underestimate themselves so much. You got to understand that it's not the way that you look at yourself, it's the way that God looks at you. And he's given us all different talents to use accordingly. Use it wisely. The servant who had received the 5 talents went at once and put them to work, and gained 5 more. Likewise, the one with the 2 talents gained 2 more. But the servant who had received the 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. All right, so this one, the first one, he got 5 talents. He went out and worked, got 5 more talents. The second one, same thing. He had 2 talents, and he worked and got 2 more talents. But the third one, he had 1 talent. And instead of working with that 1 talent and getting 1 more talent, he went off and hid his master's money. Now we're going to see what happens to the one that does that, and to the ones that worked hard. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The servant who had received the 5 talents came and presented 5 more. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. That's a really powerful statement. This person had 5 talents, And then he got 5 more. And when the master came to settle accounts, he asked him, so how much did you make with the 5 talents that I gave you? He says, Master, I made 5 more talents. And he said, good job. Well done, my good and faithful servant. The interesting part is that he says, I will put you in charge of many things. So it's like a test. It's like he's testing us. Each one of us, he's testing us, and he wants to see what we do with what he's already given us. So it's not about what we lack. Never think that it's about what you lack. It's about what he's already given you, and he wants to see what you can do with what each one of us has been given. And then he says, well done, good and faithful servant. So that's the one that gets the well done, good and faithful servant. The servant who had received the 2 talents also came and said, Master, you entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Another one that entered into the joy of their master. They get to share in his joy. He's so happy that these people have taken what he gave them and made more. Now, see, some people, they'll get these talents, and instead of working with what they have, they'll complain and say, well, I only have this, or I wasn't given that, so I'm not going to make the best of it. We've been taught different teachings, like it's not about what you don't have, it's about what you do have. That's an important teaching that we have learned. But it also applies to Jesus's gospel, which means that it's important to actually practice that. That's not just a worldly teaching, and it's not an outdated teaching. It still applies. Use what you have and make the best out of it. The servant who had received the 1 talent came and said, Master, I knew that you are a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what belongs to you. Now that seems like a good idea, right? He's like, well, hey, I know that you're a hard man and I didn't want to disappoint you. So instead of even trying to take this talent and messing up and losing it and having 0, because, I mess up sometimes, God. So, it's better if I just, not even try. Let me not try. That's exactly what this servant basically was doing. He was saying, I might mess up. I don't want to give it a try. Let me just hold on to this talent for him. And when he comes back, I'll just give it back to him and say, hey, thanks for the talent, but, I can't do it. And this is what the master says to that one. You wicked, lazy servant, replied his master. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you should have deposited my money with the bankers. Guys, he called him a wicked and lazy servant. He didn't say, hey, I understand where you're coming from. Hey, thanks for holding on to my money. This idea that Jesus or even the Father is like some kind of loving pushover God that people have expected Christians to also behave as because they think that our God is like this is completely wrong. He didn't say, hey, I take your excuse. He didn't say, I sympathize with you. He literally called him, you wicked, lazy servant. And he even goes on and says, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you should have deposited my money with the bankers. He's like, why didn't you deposit my money with the bankers? On my return, I would have received it back with interest. So, this is like a business man perspective. And that's that God has given these investments and he expects a return, period. Now let's finish this up right here. And he says, therefore take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For everyone who has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. But the one who does not have, even what he has, will be taken away from him. And throw that worthless servant into the outer darkness. where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.